All right, so we're going to do a performance test between the Lenovo Legion Go and the Steam Deck right over here. And we're gonna start things off with Elden Ring. Again, 1280 by 800 on all low. And we are getting high 40s, there's 60. That is phenomenal. Okay, we're just gonna, this will be the loop so we can do the exact same thing on the Steam Deck. And it looks like we're averaging in the high 40s, mid 50s, not really getting 60. Great. All right, now let's see how this works. Oops. Let's see how this runs on the Steam Deck. And man, this is a little thing, but sometimes little things make a big difference. And just having this kickstand where this is as far back as it can go right here, but having the kickstand so that your hands aren't holding the weight of the Legion Go, it's just on the kickstand. That's really nice. That really makes me wish they built a kickstand into the Steam Deck. And all right, now we're on the Steam Deck. And as you can tell, wow, the screen size here. Hopefully this comes across. Actually, I'm gonna unplug. I don't know how well this is coming across on camera, but the screen size makes such a big difference. Such a big difference. The Steam Deck looks tiny in comparison, even though the width of the devices is about the same. And the Lenovo Legion Go is definitely taller. If I had to guess, maybe an inch taller, but man, that screen is so much bigger. All right, so anyway, but let's just see what kind of frame rates we're getting on the Steam Deck in the exact same area. High 30s, mid 40s, even a 50. We'll walk around, 39, 37. Looks like it's hanging out in the high 30s, low 40s. And if we look at the exact same thing, this is playing on the same account, we'll look right there. Looks like we're getting 50. It's stable. Wow, it's stable at 50, 52. Frame rate's right there if you want to look. 52. Okay, it's not dipping nearly as much as the Steam Deck dips, but it looks like we're getting, there's 46, there's 46. So if we look at the exact same spot on both, it looks like we're getting about 10 FPS higher on the Lenovo Legion Go versus the Steam Deck with the same settings. But I found when I was doing testing on the ROG Ally that Elden Ring didn't really scale very well with the performance of the Z1 Extreme, but other games it scaled better. So let's try out other games. This one, it looks like, yes, the Lenovo Legion Go is faster, but it's not as much faster as I kind of would have hoped. Let's start up a new game. And I'll say this is a little thing, but navigating Steam on this is not as much fun as navigating Steam on the Steam Deck. That being said, you are supposed to, or definitely Lenovo wants you to use their Lenovo Center, I think it's called, which is this button right here. And it's just a launcher that can house all your games in one spot. We'll talk about that more late in a different video, but so far I found it to be okay. It definitely has some improvement to be made. There we go. Okay, so now we're booted up into Counter-Strike Bolt, and I'm actually going to unplug the Legion. It shouldn't have any impact on performance, but I just want to do apples to apples, so I'm making sure we're doing the same thing. Just for everyone to be aware, starting this Counter-Strike test, the Steam Deck is at 94% battery, and the Lenovo is at 66% battery. And yeah, unfortunately, I can't launch Counter-Strike without Wi-Fi, so we'll have to play it one at a time. So let's just start on the Lenovo, and I'll leave it running so it still burns a little battery, but all right, so we're gonna do play, and this is where the trackpad comes in really handy. So we'll do play, and we will do a practice match on DDust, yeah, go. All right, now let's see. And again, I'm probably sounding like a broken record here, but I'm telling you, this 8.8 inch screen on the Go versus the 7-inch screen on the Steam Deck, it is a night and day difference. I mean, I don't know how well it's coming across on camera, but it really, if I line up that left side, it really is a dramatically bigger screen. It's dramatically bigger. I looked up, I did the area math, and it's like a 60% bigger screen. And when you're dealing with relatively small screens like this, that makes such a big difference. The viewability. All right, and we are playing at high. So we're just gonna drop that down to low and let's try it. Okay, so now we're on low. We're gonna try low at 1280 by 800. Should have done that first. So that's what we're running at right now. There, that's more like it. Okay, low 1280 by 800. We're still getting weird hitches, but as you can see, our FPS is now 96, 89. It's definitely holding in the high 80s, which is pretty phenomenal if you ask me. Yeah, this is running really smooth. We're getting, again, 90s. There's 100. There's a nice spray of the whole clip. I don't think I hit him once. There we go. But the frame rate was much better than my gameplay, and we're getting 80 to 90. So that is fantastic. I'm super happy with that. Whoa, there's chickens? I want to shoot it. I don't know if this is like Zelda. There, see that frame rate hitch? We're getting weird frame rate hitches. Now, it could be they're loading in stuff in the background because this is the first time that I've opened the game, and this is the first time it's running. So it doesn't concern me too much, but if we played for more than, I don't know, 15 minutes and those were still happening, then I might be a little concerned. Wow, the deagle is strong. All right, so I think we got a good impression with at 1280 by 800, everything low. We're getting 80 and up FPS, which is fantastic. That's super, super good. So I would say for a game like Counter-Strike, I would probably play on all low because it's worth it for the extra frame rate, in my opinion. Ooh, all right. Oh. Nope. Nope. All right, I deserve that. All right, so 80 FPS on all low, that's our target for this. Now let's see how the Steam Deck works. All right, now let's try out the Steam Deck. Wow, it's so much harder to see. Like, I can't read the text on the Steam Deck hardly at all unless I get my face close. But on the Lenovo Legion Go, it was no problem. So now all the settings are the same as they were on the Lenovo Legion Go, 1280 by 800, low default. On the Legion, we were getting generally above 80, I would say averaging between 80 and 90 FPS. And right now, at least on the Steam Deck, we are getting 40s, maybe a high of 50s, so 40 to 50. So this is a game where we're definitely seeing more frame rate improvements than Elden Ring. We're getting close to double the frame rate at the same settings and the same resolution. So, come on. If only I was better. But I'm not, so this is what you get. I will say also, though, it is way easier to play on the bigger screen. It's a lot easier to see what's going on that one. All right, getting roasted, but I think we're getting a better idea of what the average frame rate is going to look like. And again, it's hanging out in the 40s, sometimes the 50s. Oof, tough. So at least in Counter-Strike 2, it looks like we get about double the frame rate on the Lenovo Legion versus the Steam Deck. Looks like, yeah, if you want to play Counter-Strike, definitely the Legion is the way to go comparatively. And that's not even talking about one of its hidden features, which is the ability to pop off the right controller and turn it into a mouse. But we're not going to do that in this video. This is just performance testing. So just want to snipe one per... Oh. Okay, the next game we're going to test out is No Man's Sky. Okay, this bottom corner of the screen is really hot to the touch. Like, I can touch it, but I don't want to hold my finger on it. It's not going to burn you, but it's definitely hot. It's definitely uncomfortably hot. Okay, so we're at 1280 by 800. We are on the low quality preset on everything, and it looks like we're getting around 90. There was a dip to 70. seems to be loading stuff in the background. When I've played No Man's Sky in the past, for the first few minutes, it's loading a bunch of stuff in, so you'll usually get like stutters, frame rate stutters, but then after that, it usually clears itself up. So I would just kind of ignore the stutters for now. They're a temporary thing. But as you can tell, we're getting in the 90s, 90 FPS on low. That is pretty awesome. I'm totally happy with that. It looks great on this high refresh rate screen. So now let's see on the same settings, what are we doing on the Steam Deck? So I'll put that over here. Let's see. This is the exact same settings on the Steam Deck. So as you can see, the Steam Deck is doing quite well for its chipset, but it's definitely getting a worse frame rate. It's getting close to 60, although I'd say it's more like getting 50s if we just run around. Something is definitely locking that at 60. It's not locked in the settings, but there's some lock somewhere. Because look, we have VSync off, max FPS 240. I don't know why it wouldn't be going higher than 60. And let me just make sure, yeah, I don't have a frame rate lock. So something is locking it, but I don't have control over it. Or maybe that truly is the maximum it can get. But it looks like we're getting about 60 FPS in No Man's Sky on the Steam Deck on low preset. And that's pretty good. I'm totally happy with that. 60 FPS looks great. And it's good, especially on a game like this. You don't really need higher. I mean, of course, more frames is always better, but you don't need higher. But if we look at the Go, we're getting more like 90, mid 90s. And man, I know I sound like a broken record, but this bigger screen, it's so much more immersive. It looks like an entirely different game than the Steam Deck to me because it's just so much bigger here. Let's put them, look at that. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Here, let's get it like a similar view, something like that. Look at that. It is so much, it's such a big difference. It is such a big difference. So anyway, it looks like on No Man's Sky, with the same settings on the Go, you're going to be getting about 50 to 60% more frames than the Steam Deck on the same settings. That's pretty cool. All right, let's test out the next game. And look at this. We are getting 60 FPS on the Steam Deck, which again, it seems like something's locking it, but VSync is off. I'm not sure exactly what would be locking it. If you look here, frame rate is unlocked here, so I'm not sure why, but it does seem suspicious. But look at this. On the Lenovo, we are getting 120, 100 in high teens, 119. We are quite literally getting double the frame rate on the Legion Go versus the Steam Deck. And let me tell you, with this smooth screen, it looks nice. You have a high refresh rate screen, man, we're again getting well over 100. So that's crazy to me. So if we're getting that good of a frame rate, let's bump up the settings to high because we've got the FPS for it. So that will set the render resolution to 100%. So now it's not going to be upscaling. And this is on high. Yeah, that looks better. And look at that frame rate, 90s. So let's go on the Steam Deck and let's also bump this to high. And I'm telling you, even just if you're in the menu, like on the Legion, I can read this text no problem sitting this far back. On the Steam Deck, I can barely read this text. It just, that screen makes such a big difference. All right, but let's change it to high. All right, good. And now let's go back. Now you can see on the Steam Deck, we're getting high 50s. Let's open a door. Maybe 40s, high 50s, 40s. Still pretty great. I'm still pretty impressed with this frame rate, but maybe averaging around 50 to 60 FPS, whereas on the Legion Go, we are averaging closer to 90. So I would probably leave these settings. I think it looks really nice, but you could bump up the resolution if you wanted to have less frame rate. But I think you've got this high refresh rate screen. I would leave it. So you can enjoy that high refresh rate screen. But yeah, look at that. It went to 120 for a second, but we're getting between 80 and maybe 80 and 100 FPS, whereas on the Steam Deck, we're getting between 40 and 60 FPS. So again, this is another example where the Legion Go is getting close to double, not quite double, but close to double the FPS of the Steam Deck. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you have any specific games that you want me to test on either device or test the devices against each other, let me know in the comment section below. And that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. See you guys.